Hey Alex, this is Vivian. Of course, I just wanted to show you what I do here on this ADT to Web Services Mirth channel. It is version 3.6.0, and I was sitting here creating the file when I realized that I should be taking a video of what I'm doing. So what I did was I added these two steps. There are two steps here. Then, and I'll explain in a second. The source has two steps. It's one destination. And this, what I did was I created, and let me just do it all over again. Oh, you must have at least one. All right, let's just change it. Okay, so now what I did was I created this destination. It's already there. I made it called Lawn City Name because this web service sender, which I'm going to connect the type of that. I found this online, and there was a URL to the WSDL, so I found this online. This WSDL. So if you can find any WSDL link, you should be able to put it in here with a web service sender. And what happens is this. I don't need authentication on here. It's an open WSDL. Sometimes you need authentication. That's a different story. You'll learn that as you go. But this is just plain WSDL open. And what you do is you can click test connection, and it is successful, as you can see. But you also, watch this. Let me click save. It's not going to let me save. If you click Get Operations, you can see what happens. It fills in all the stuff for you. Not sure what that error was. I didn't get that before. Yeah, let's go ahead and save this. So, as you can see, I tried to save and it wouldn't let me. So really, if you have the URL of the WSDL, which is a web service descriptor, and if you look at this in the URL, you'll actually see the definition of this web service. That's what I was trying to explain to you yesterday, is you get you can tell which functions are in here. It's really cool. So see, I was able to see, where is it? I took a look on there and I noticed that one of the calls, here we go, operation name, was lat lawn list city name, and all I had to do was just send in one variable. So you can see here's the definition. There's a description. So I kind of figured out how that worked. I took this and I'm like, I'm going to run with that. So what I did was, as soon as you enter this WSDL, you click you get operations, all the stuff gets populated, which is super cool because look now what happens. See the operation section? Mirth will read that WSDL, fill in all this information, and then the operation, which is what we're looking at right here. Check it out. It's also right here, all done for you. So that's how I saw lat lawn list city name. So I'm like, oh cool, that looks kind of, I could probably figure out how to send values over there to send the request. And then I click generate envelope. Let's replace open. Yeah, that's fine. This is just saying that anything in this pink box is going to be replaced. Now I can save it. And check this out. So all I had was a WSDL, and Mirth filled everything in for me, including the SOAP envelope. Now what a SOAP envelope is what you're actually going to send. This is the actual XML that you will send over to this service, right? This lat long city name service. And what it wants, here's how you can tell what you need to do. Sometimes you'll need to generate this SOAP envelope automatically, but because of this web service sender, Mirth does it for you. So what you need to do is, see this? Display level, type integer. This is where you know that it's going to be an integer that it needs. And I can't remember where I saw the values. Where did I see those values? I've seen it right here. I saw those values here when I found the WSDL. I also found it on this page. Yep. See, and this tells me, yeah, what's going on here. Lat long list. So this is where I found the WSDL call, and this is where I found all the information. This is how I knew what this lat long city names needs. Somewhere this page is so huge. All right, see, now this is one of the functions, one of the operations. I call them function methods, whatever you want to call it. This is one of the operations. There's a description, just like here, and then I lost my mouse. And then here's the integer display level and description. Any one of these values will work in there. Go back to Mirth. You can say the C, display level, integer, and right now it's a question mark, but you can put whatever you want in there. I say put a variable in there, and then I'll show you how to do that. So that's what a web service is. You have to have an envelope. It's an XML file or string, and then it has the name of the operation, and then parameters. In this case, it's display level. And what this is essentially, if you know programming is, it hits that endpoint, right? It'll go lat long list city name, hit that HTTP. That HTTP, this is open. It's an open box, so it won't authenticate. But once it gets past authentication, it'll go inside that call and start to run it, and then that code will return something back to you. So it's just essentially someone's HTTP code sitting somewhere with a class or method called lat long city names. They expose it to the internet through a web service, and they create parameters, and you just call it and you send the parameter. In this case, the name of the operation is lat long city name, and the parameter is display level. So that's what a web service is, and you can see how easy it is for this. And let's say you wanted to try something else, just hit the drop down and change it. I'll show you. Let's say you want to do lat long on city zip. You click generate envelope. It's going to warn you if you want to change it. Really no big deal. I'll change it. My mouse is acting funny. And you'll see that this SOAP envelope here is going to change. See, now it's changed. And now it needs a zip code list as a parameter. And of type string. So if you send in a zip code list of type string, in here you'll get a response. But I found, just for simplicity's sake, let's stick with city names, because I know it's one of these values I have to send in there. Right now I have to set to primary cities. Let's save that. Now, this channel is ADT to web services. Actually, I should put this link in here for you. I'm converting this from 370. Oh, here it goes. So I'm just copying stuff over. While I'm copying it, I figured I'd show you. All right, cool. So now you can see. Yeah, I want to make sure that the data types are correct. So I have an HL7 coming in, which is a ADT, and then I want this all to be raw because because my envelope and my destination is already in here. So you can just hit raw all the way through and it won't affect anything. You can see here HL7.x and there's raw. We're not going to do anything with the outbound template, so we don't need to do anything in there. And then if you come back over to destination, you go to edit transformer, you'll see what I was just saying, raw. So yeah, so set that to that. That's what that is. If you come over to the transformer, I put all display levels in here. Again, that's what I have from these values over here. And then what I did is I just set a variable. I said, okay, now here's my ADT message. And it's all gibberish, it's all fake. But I'm like, I wanted to show you how you can grab values from an ADT and stick it in a web service. So I added an NTE, and I added the number 1 here, which is this one right here. And I know that 1 equals primary cities. So as long as I put a 1 here, and I grab it and I put it in the variable display level, I'll send that over to the web service. And this is just a description, so I put that in there. But you can put anything in here. You can put number 2. Anything you put in here that reflects this list will return to you actual values from that web service. But let's stick with 1. And I'll copy that so I can send it in manually. And then here, I don't have any transformers, no filters or anything, because all I did, which you saw me set up, was just literally type in, paste in the WSDL, hit get operations, test a connection, authentication is no. I left everything else the same. Then once this is all filled in, I set my operation. Now here's what we need to change. We're going to take that ADT value, and we're going to, as you can see, the variable display level becomes available to us. And now whatever is in NTE 2.1, I believe, right? Is that what it was? Whatever is in NTE 2.1 will now be put into this envelope, and that envelope will get sent over to that web service call, and we should get a response back. So let me do Man, why do I have 2? I don't remember which one it is. Okay, this is the old one. This is the one I want. Alright, so now I'll deploy this. I copied my ADT, so I'm going to do send message. I'm going to send my ADT over there, and I'm going to send this. And remember that the Mirth is going to take, look at this, grab NTE 2.1, which is right here, number 1, and it's going to stick it into that SOAP envelope, send it over, and we should see it work. And again, this is how you do ADT. Alright, that's good that you saw that error, because that error is actually, I screwed up. If you remember, I was trying to do lat long city name, and I changed it to zip code, and I forgot to change it back. So that's good, that's fine, let's just switch it back. I want lat long city name. You probably noticed as I was watching this that I hadn't changed it back. Okay. And we're going to do generate envelope. Every time you change this operation, you have to generate a new envelope, because it's going to change the XML. There it is, display level, that's what we want. I'm going to drag this over here. And remember, this is the variable we're creating, not transformer. Oops. So, perfect. Now you'll see what happens. Let's go. This should be this easy. Alright, let's do this again. Again, it's going to send the number 1 over. Now it'll work. Yeah, see. So here's a web service. Here's your web service WSDL URL. Here's your service. Right, you can see it right there. Here's your ports. Here's your location URI. So this is actually the PHP it's calling over there. Awesome. That's what contains that method and parameters, and that's probably what contains all the code. And here it is. Here's our SOAP action. So that's what web services is, on the most basic level. And here's our SOAP envelope. You can see our number 1 there. And then let's look at the response. And then here we go. We got back a list of lat longs depending on that number 1, which is primary, right? That number 1 is primary cities. So we sent primary cities, and it sent us back a list of lat longs. Let's just switch it now so you see let's change this to number 2. And this doesn't really matter. I could even delete that. I was just trying to do it for purposes of it being clear. Now we sent the number 2. See, here we go. And we get a different list, because number 2 is secondary cities. So you can play around with that. That's how it works. I hope this makes some sense. Run the channel and play along with it. Modify it. Try a different operation, and you should be good to go. Have fun.